Hi everyone, it's Rax. Started off my Path of Exile to YouTube career by making 4 leveling builds. Sorcerer that got nerfed, and then the Ranger, and then the Monk, and then the Witch. I have been asked so many times by all the people that watch the leveling guide, by the way, thank you for doing that, to make endgame guides for these builds. So I'm putting the Mercenary and the Warrior on hold. Played the Monk for about 2 days, and I got decently far in the end game, far enough where I feel very confident to show you the next step in the Monk's journey. This is not going to take you to the very, very end of the pinnacle encounters. I haven't even reached them myself, but I need to get some of these videos out because all day long on my stream, people are saying, where are the next steps? I need them now. I need them now. So Monk is today. I'll work on Ranger the next couple of days. I'll work on Witch the next couple of days. But I'm happy to report that my Monk is still absolutely deleting everything. And I'm going to show you exactly how to make it work. If you got in the end game, you're like, God, this doesn't work very well. Oh, yeah, it does. So the furthest I've got right now is T9 maps. And since I've had this set up and I got it working, I didn't die a single time. So let's see if I can make that prophecy come true. I'll just open the highest map that I've got. Okay, I see an 8 right here. Let's make it as difficult as we can. Let's throw an alchemy orb in it. Okay, whatever affixes, doesn't matter. Pick any map. Okay, let's go. I want to show this to you in action. Now, if you didn't watch my leveling guide, we're doing Ice Strike, and we're doing exactly the same thing. We're doing Ice Strike, and we just made it a hell of a lot stronger. You want to know the beautiful thing about this endgame guide? You don't need any special uniques. I don't have any super expensive gear. In fact, I'm going to show you here in a moment. Oh, I got a legendary already. I'm going to show you in a moment. You can actually get this character very tanky and up and running for a single exalted orb. 1 exalt is all you need. If you have more than 1 to spend, then you're going to be even stronger. This character, the cost of this character is almost zero. Here's a yellow, a dead, instantly gone, no chance. You can notice maybe probably the biggest difference between my Monk and yours, if you just got to the end game, is you're probably taking a shitload of damage, right? You're like, God, okay, Rax's leveling build was all damage, which is perfect for the campaign because you don't need any survivability. But the end game's not going to let you get away with that. You're going to have to actually build some defenses. But luckily, Monk has got it probably easier than almost every other class to build defense. So this is not like a super end game. This is tier 8. I think it goes to T15. But you can see I have no trouble with anything. They have absolutely no chance. I don't even know if I've taken a point of damage. I've got 2,000 health. I've got 500 energy shield. The poison does nothing. Their lightning does nothing. I don't even have capped resistances. 56 fire, 45 cold, only 23 chaos. Since I've gotten this set up nice and easy, no deaths. I did my third Ascendancy, by the way. I did the Trial of the Sekimas as melee. No problem. I finished with 2,000 plus honor after killing the final boss. Pretty much the only weakness here, the thing that I would like to solve going forward is I would really like to solve crowd control. Crowd control is pretty much the bane of my existence. But you probably don't want to watch me map all day, do you? If you wanted to watch me map all day, you'd watch my live stream. You don't give a crap about this. You want to know, Rax, how do you fix your Monk? So I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so let's start with the passive tree. We need to make some changes to what we did at the end of the leveling guide. And this is exactly where I left you off. So your tree, if you followed my leveling guide, should look something like this. What we are going to do right now is we're going to stop doing the shenanigans that worked in the campaign, and we're going to spec a little bit more intelligently, let's say. So what we're not going to do is we're not going to go take all these random 10% elemental damage nodes, and instead, we're going to path to more notables, which are going to give us the defense that we need to stop getting one-shotted. So you're going to see me take out all of these random nodes. You're going to see me take out a lot of these crit nodes right here, these crit nodes in one step. And you're also going to see me respec the entire Ascendancy tree. We were playing Unbound Avatar, we are not going to play Unbound Avatar now. There's something much better that we can do. So in this step, you're going to see, boink, all of those points that I just labeled or I just talked about, they disappear. The very first thing that we need to do is we have access to the best Ascendancy node, maybe in the entire game for any class. And it's right over here. This. Physical damage reduction from armor is based on your combined armor and evasion rating, and your evasion goes down 40%. That's the greatest thing ever. The best thing that you can get in Path of Exile 1 and 2, almost without exception, is physical damage reduction. This is what's going to kill you in the game. And if you can't die, well, then technically you really can't lose, right? We get a 40% evasion penalty. So if we get a shitload of evasion, we're going to live. The best way to do that is by spending either a single Exalted Orb, or you can craft it yourself. And we are going to go to a node that we're right next to, right over here. 100% increased evasion rating from your equipped body armor. Yep, I can hear the wheels turn. You already know what we're going to do. We're going to the trade site and we're going to buy a body armor. Dude, can I take this? I've signed in 100 times today and I've told Path of Exile to remember me and it has me log in every time. I don't know why. Sorry. We're back in. I'm going to show you. I'll make a full video that's going to teach you how to trade. I'm going to show you how crazy easy this is, okay? When you get to the POE trade site, I'll hopefully put a link down below. There's all these things that might look really complicated. It's not. It's really easy. At the top, item category, type in body armor. Boink. And by the way, if you don't want to trade, just make it yourself. Get a really high evasion. Just craft the highest evasion body armor that you can. Find a really good base with very high evasion. You can aug it and transmute it, give it some more evasion, regal it, exalt it, like you've been crafting everything. I'll make a crafting guide as well. But most of you are going to be playing on trade, so we're just going to buy it. Body armor. Then you go to evasion, minimum, type in anything, 600, it doesn't matter. That's under equipment filters. Then at the bottom here, if you want, you can put your buyout price at whatever the highest, however many exalts that you have. Maybe you have 4, but you don't want to spend all 4 on a body armor. You put 2, I don't know, whatever you got. Search. Now, here's the trick. On the very first item, right here, click on the evasion rating. Boink. And now it will sort it. And now you can buy stuff. So if you did not know, the way that it works when you're logged into the game, just click whisper. It'll auto whisper them and it'll say, I want to buy this thing for 1 exalted orb. They will invite you to the party. You hit accept. Then there's a little swirly underneath their name. Click the swirly. It'll port you to them. When you are buying an item, let me say this again. The person with the item initiates the trade. You don't ask them to trade. They trade with you. So you're going to click the swirly underneath their nameplate, stand there, and wait for them to open trade. Give them 1 exalt. They give you the body armor. It's over. That's all you have to do. I'll make a full trading video. Just buy anything with a really high evasion rating. You can quality it, and you can put in the 2 runes to get more evasion and armor. I bought this chest piece for 1 exalt. 1. Easy as that. And then people say, Rax, it doesn't cost 1 exalt anymore. But then people say, that's bullshit. I just bought one for 1 exalt 5 minutes ago. It might cost you 2. And you don't have to get one that's insane. You just need to get a decent one. Just get a decent one for now. Get a better one later. Okay? That's really it. That's really all that you need. Otherwise, if you look at the gear, a lot of it is just kind of what I already showed you. You want a really, really good physical quarterstaff. I'll show you how to buy one here. Really, the quarterstaff and the body armor. That's really all you need. Super high evasion, really high physical damage. Everything else is just life and resistances. Life and resistances. Just stay alive. If you can get $2 melee skills on your amulet, that's amazing. You can get flat damage on your gloves. That would be good, but just resistance is life. Movement speed, resistance is life. Just stay alive. This build is so powerful, you'll be just fine. Really high evasion chest, really high DPS quarterstaff. That's all you need. What if you wanted to buy a quarterstaff? It's easy. Here, we start over. Show my filters. For some reason, it's not called quarterstaff. It's called warstaff. Don't know why. It's called warstaff. Physical DPS, put a minimum of like 200. Okay. And then whatever your maximum buyout price is, maybe you're rich. Maybe you have 6 exalts. It doesn't matter. Anything. Then click the physical damage here to put the highest one at the top. 5 exalts a few seconds ago, 417 top end. 5 exalts, 360 top end. You know, maybe you're like, wait, actually, I don't have 6 exalts. Okay, 3. Problem. Click the physical thing. 300 top end for 2 exalts. Okay, and that will help you a lot. You can use it to farm. You don't need something insane. Here's what I have so far. I have a 439. I purchased this one for 15 exalts. So pretty decent, not bad. I also made this one, which I want to talk about for a second. Where is it? It's right here. It's probably not worth 2 divine. I just put it up for 2 divine to see if it would sell. Here's the interesting thing about this one. I got the +6 to all melee skills. I made this staff, by the way. I slammed that. I slammed +6 to all melee skills. And if you actually check it out, if I put on this staff, it's actually higher DPS than this one. This one has higher top end, but this has 6 to Ice Strike. Okay, so if I switch it, then my damage goes up. So you might be like, well, Rex, why the hell don't you wear the one where you do more damage? The 6 all melee skills is kind of a debate as you're progressing through the endgame. And the reason is because it skyrockets the mana cost. There are ways to solve it. You can get better flasks, you can get better mana regen, you can take passive nodes, you can put inspiration support on Ice Strike. I mean, I only have 4 supports right now. There's a lot of ways to solve it, but here's the problem. You have to solve it. So I think the melee skills is kind of a debate and is more of an endgame thing where you have to solve it. There are ways to solve it, but I'm not trying to make you solve too many issues as we're trying to go up here. So that's why I'm not using the staff that I crafted, even though it's higher DPS. Sometimes just putting on something you can just start playing with right away and not having to solve anything is the dream. It's kind of funny, but just that really high evasion chest piece with this node and this notable is going to skyrocket your defenses. It's as simple as that. So now we're going to take a couple other nodes to supplement this. We're going to go over here and pick this one up. 1 energy shield per 12 evasion on the body armor. Well, we just bought a body armor with a bajillion evasion. This gives you a shitload of energy shield. It's going to help keep you alive. And then I go over here and we do a little respec to save 1 point. We just changed the pathing to save a point. Then I take this node. Not the 30% evasion rating is nice, but the real reason why I take this node is for 8% more dex. And what I've noticed in the end game of Path of Exile, it is very difficult to get all of the int and the dex that you need to be able to upgrade your gems and wear all of your gear. It's just not that easy. So 8% increased dex is going to lighten the requirements for you to actually put on your gear. That's why I go for these notables first that actually give you main stat as well. I think it helps a lot. Finally, we are going to pick up this one, 24% evasion, 8% max energy shield. Seems very strong with the 2 nodes that we got. And that's it for defense. I haven't put in any more defense other than picking this up, picking up those notables, and we did that by respecking these nodes and buying that super high evasion body armor. And I really haven't died. And again, my gear is not perfect. My health is really high, but my resistances need a lot of work. So you could spend more exalts on stuff with really high life and triple res on all these different things. If you could get these maxed, you're gonna be real comfy. Now we're gonna start back to business. Let's start loading up on damage. And this is the part of the game where I just need more experience, or I need path of building. I have an idea. It's working very well for me. There might be a better idea, but I would need to play a lot more, or I would need path of building to mathematically solve it for me. When path of building comes out, my build guide's going to get way better. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for crit. I'm just going to go for crit. We've already picked up a lot of crit. Let's just keep going with it. And I go for this node. Why do you think I went for this node first? Oh, yeah, because it has main stat on it. It's going to make it easier to put on your gear. Crit node, crit node, crit node. We're going for all the notables. Then there's some crit notables over here that we respect out of. Now I'm going to go pick them back up again. And actually, this is kind of where I left the build at. This is pretty far into the end game. This is having every point except 20. As I get further, I will continue to update this planner with what I think is strong. You could take these crit nodes, for example. They're pretty strong. You could just pick up all the rest of this crit. There might be some other really strong notables around here that we could path to. The sky is the limit. Path of building will help us when it comes out, though. Now for our Ascendancy, now that we have this, when you get your third thing, definitely take this. It's very good. Crits ignore elemental monster resistances. You guys had resistances? Not anymore, you don't. And since we're going crit, this should be really strong. Then I'm not quite sure what to do when you have your fourth thing. I heard two different stories. I heard elemental expression is godly, and I've also heard it's dog shit. I won't know until I try it. I do know Unbound Avatar is great because I used it while leveling. So maybe we respec out of it and take Unbound Avatar. Not sure. I won't know until I get it and try elemental expression. But I wanted to make this guide for you guys. This isn't like a super endgame monk guide, or I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe it just clears the whole game. But I do know, I think I'm on tier 9 maps. On tier 9 maps, I'm not dying. I'm still destroying everything. And the tech that I'm showing you with these couple notables, and this body armor that I bought for 1 Exalt, 1 on the auction house. Maybe you won't get quite as good of one. Mine doesn't have any life on it, by the way. This isn't even, it just has really high evasion. It's not really even that good. It doesn't have any life. Someone wants to buy something from me. I like that. In fact, this might be a good opportunity. Let me see. Let me show you how this works. He wants to buy it. He sent me the whisper if you've never seen this. Let's see if he joins. He wants the necromantic sapphire of osmosis. Let's see if he joins. He joined. Okay. So I go in here and I don't know. I can't see where it is. It is right here. You see it, pilot. You call it necromantic. Okay. He comes to my hideout. I open the trade because I have the item. I put it in the stash. He gives me 5 exalts. Maybe he tries to scam me. This will be good content. Okay. That's the jewel he wanted. Done. That's it. That's how easy trading is. When you buy the item, it's the opposite. By the way, do you see the little swirly right here? That's the swirly I was talking about. This is perfect timing for this video. You will click the thing. It'll whisper them. They will invite you. You accept. You click the swirly. You're there. You just stand there with your currency. The person with the item opens the trade. Okay? So there. That was perfect timing. Thank you. Now let's talk about the gems and their skills. What exactly are we doing in the end game in order to vaporize all the monsters? If you follow the leveling guide, the basic setup here is going to be exactly the same. So we have Ice Strike with Martial Tempo to attack faster. We have Concentrated Effect for more area damage. This works for Ice Strike. And Primal Armament for more elemental damage. When you get your next socket, we are going to add Cold Exposure. And Cold Exposure was just changed. It's not exactly what it says here. There's an increased mana cost, but they got rid of the supported skills deal 25% less damage. Cold Exposure is going to be huge for our Ice Strike. This is a big buff, so now we're doing a ton of extra damage. And by the way, if you're wondering how you get the extra socket, you can either Val Orb a 3-socketed Ice Strike, or you can use one of the greater jeweler orbs, but those are very rare and expensive. It's probably better just to keep gem cutting, use the lesser jeweler's orb, and then chaos that up to 4 sockets. I'll make a video on that if you don't know how that works. Then we got our trusty little bell. We have rage, so we're going to grant rage on melee hit, which is going to give us, I believe it's attack damage. I think that it's switched back and forth between POE1. Pretty sure it's attack damage in POE2. Yep. So that's perfect. And then close combat is going to give us more attack damage when we're close to it. We're always going to be right by our trusty bell. And Font of Rage is going to further buff rage. This is exactly what we were doing in the campaign. Now we will add Heavy Swing. Now, there was a big discussion in my chat. A bunch of people are doing different things with the bell. And a lot of people here take Overabundance, and Overabundance lets you start charging a second bell because you have to swing 4 times to drop the bell in order to get it going. But I actually think that that would be very good in the very, very end game or against pinnacle bosses. But right here, when we're mapping, nothing's going to survive a single bell. And because of that, and because of our mobility and moving around, I actually think it's a lot better just to have your bell hit harder. I think Heavy Swing with the 35% more melee physical damage is going to do exactly that for us. Charge Staff is what makes us Darth Maul. Exact same things we used in the campaign. Persistence gives us more duration, conduction gives us more shock, and overcharge increases the magnitude of the shock. The shock is going to make monsters take more damage, which is everything is to buff Ice Strike. So that's why we do that. You guessed it, Lightning Exposure. They got rid of the 25% less damage, so we'll have Lightning Exposure on there in case we get some elemental damage from Charge Staff and Herald of Thunder that we're going to add to the build. It's going to give us a big damage increase, actually. And in group play, if anybody's doing all these different elemental damages as well, they're going to love you for applying the exposures. Herald of Ice we used in the campaign. Cold Pen is just penetrates their resistances. Magnified Effect for more effect, and Cold Infusion just gave it extra cold damage. Now we have a lot of spirit from our Lead Me Through Grace, which is going to let us add a bunch of different spirit gems along with some very nice supports. And Herald of Thunder, when we kill a shocked enemy with attack damage, which will be pretty much always, subsequent attacks release lightning bolts. We're just going to be frying everything very easily. Elemental Focus gives us more elemental damage, but we cannot inflict elemental ailments. That should be okay. We should be okay to apply shock with our Charge Staff. If you aren't, then we have to swap this for something else. Lightning Pen to go through their resistances, and Lightning Infusion for more damage. Combat Frenzy was required in the leveling guide. We used that in combination with Resonance over here in order to get all of our power charges in order to cast our Charge Staff to be Darth Maul, right? So Combat Frenzy with Profusion is going to give us more chance for an additional charge, and Clarity is going to give us mana regen. As we talked about, as we will discuss, when you get extra melee skills and you start to get Ice Strike like above the 20s, you're going to have to actually solve some mana issues. So this Clarity is no joke. We absolutely want this. Hypothermia is a curse. There's different ways that you can auto-apply it if you're super lazy. We don't need it very often, and it's much better to manually cast it because usually it's a lot more powerful and it won't eat up your spirit. So we take Expanse for more effect, and the 6-second cooldown doesn't matter because it should be fine. The duration is long enough to for it to be on there anyway, and we usually don't fight 2 gigantic, super deadly monsters within that period of time. Then Heightened Curse is just going to further buff it. Wind Dancer, I believe we had this in the leveling guide. It's going to give us more evasion. Evasion stacks incredibly, of course, with our new Protect Me from Harm. So that's beautiful. Blind is just for survivability. Culling Strike, so we can kill the uniques and rares a little bit earlier. Just execute them below a certain HP threshold. And Vitality is a new thing that we can add with all of our spirit. We get 1% of our life per second, which actually is pretty significant after we start to get a ton of life stacked on their gear as we move into the end game. And then finally, we can add Ghost Stance. And again, this is going to help keep us alive by recovering our energy shield. And it's equal to 5% of our evasion, which is going to be through the roof with this build. So this is going to be very strong for us. Fast Forward gives us less skill effect duration, which is good because having less effect should conjure these ghost shrouds more often, which is exactly what we want. And then finally, we have Cannibalism, where we're going to get our life on kill, which is going to be awesome for the sustain. We're teleporting around, we're killing everything. It's very rare that I have to drink a flask unless we're in a real extensive fight with a bunch of elites. So that's how the gems work. All right, that's it, guys. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on Ranger. I'm going to make the Ranger really, really good, and then I'll make a video. Oh, by the way, shit, I forgot one thing. My bad. The Atlas tree. I'll make a full guide on this. I got to make a million guides. But in general, the thing to understand about the endgame passive tree is you need maps, which are waystones. You need waystones. If you don't spec into them, you won't have them. And then you can't complete your quests, and then you can't complete your Atlas. We want more waystones. That's pretty much the only thing you need to understand in the beginning of the game. So if we look at the passives that you're going to start to get, this one is 20% quantity of waystones. Okay, so it's almost like we have to go for that first. Okay, now we're going to go up here, and it's going to be the number of monster packs in your maps. And these nodes along the way are very strong. Waystones have a chance to be higher. That's really good. Okay, then we are going to walk over here, and we're going to get rarity of waystones. And then and people keep telling me that this is so good, so I went to go pick it up. I'm sure it is really good because of the different biomes give you more drops, so that's nice. I'm more tempted to go for precursor tablets early, and what precursor tablets are their buffs to the little towers, and then they buff all of your maps, and you can get more items. And that's about as far as I've gotten. So that's like the super, super basic intro to endgame guide. But the main thing to understand is you need more waystones. You just need more ways to get into the endgame is the highest priority. Anyway, Ranger guide is coming, endgame guides are coming, currency guides are coming, crafting guides, trading guides. I'll teach you everything about this game if you want to hang with me. We put in the rotations here. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just use activate your charge staff, use Ice Strike on Old Trash. That's all that you need. On bosses, curse them, and then drop your bell, and that's pretty much it. Otherwise, just spam Ice Strike. Easy. Here's the guide, guys. I'm going to stop talking. Many more guides are coming. Let me know. I do have a question for you if you feel like answering in the comments. Do you like these more... I wouldn't call it, this isn't an incomplete guide, but do you like this transitionary guide? This isn't like an ultimate endgame guide. It would have taken me more time to get to the full endgame and fine tune everything. Are you guys okay with these like intermediary steps just so you guys can get going? I probably won't have too many more of them in the future, because hopefully, if I just play for many, many months, I can figure everything out. But right now, people keep telling me that I need to get something out there to get you guys at least to T10 maps and beyond, while I keep solving everything for the game. So if you guys are okay with this, I'll make exactly the same thing for the Ranger and for the Witch. And yes, we will go back to the Sorceress. And yes, we will do a full clear for Warrior and for Marauder. Marauder? Is that what it's called? That's not what it's called. It's called Mercenary. Mercenary. Anyway, let me know, guys. And that's the end of the video. And I hope this really helped you. Thank you.